In this video, we're touring one of the most unique and one of the smallest communities in Miami-Dade County, and that is the village of Biscayne Park. If you're relocating to Miami and looking for peace, privacy, and that true old Florida feel, this is one of the best neighborhoods for you to consider. Now let's get started with a quick overview. So Biscayne Park has a really cool history. It was officially founded in 1931, and believe it or not, the whole area used to be nothing but tomato fields. Now, over time, it transformed into the nice, charming residential village that you're going to see here today in this video. But originally, the plan was for Biscayne Park to become part of North Miami, but the original developer and the residents, they pushed back. So they wanted it to stay ultra suburban, despite all the growth, surrounding it. And that diamond shaped layout that you see on the map, well, that comes from two natural borders of Biscayne Park, the Biscayne Canal, which is on the west side, and then the old Florida East Coast Railway, which is on the eastern side, closer to Biscayne. So it's a teensy tiny village, only about 0.65 square miles, and it's tucked between Miami Shores to the south and North Miami to the north. But despite it being tucked away like that, you're still getting a feel that's very, very central and in the Miami-Dade sweet spot that I talk about all the time. So you're still, 20 minutes from the beach, Miami Beach, depending on where you're going, Bal Harbor, Sunny Isles area, or Miami Beach proper, downtown Miami as well. You're about 20 minutes from Brickell, and you're also about 20 minutes from Miami International Airport. The highway is a straight shot over to the west as well. So it's pretty quick to get to 95 and to be able to go north up to Fort Lauderdale or Fort Lauderdale Airport. Same story for the Design District and Wynwood. It's about 20 minutes away. Now, inside the village, the only main roads are Northeast 6th Avenue that runs from 121st Street down to 114th Street and Griffin Boulevard. The remaining of the streets are pretty narrow, residential, and lightly traveled, which means there's little to no traffic for the most part ever. In fact, one of my closest family friends lives in Biscayne Park, and as kids, we used to ride our bike up and down the street, meeting up with local friend groups, and it was pretty much all times of the day that we were doing this, going back and forth from the park to the candy store and just having a good time being kids. But that sort of stuff is normal in Biscayne Park. We weren't the exception, where we were just the norm. There's a very real drive slowly culture in the village, and I really want to emphasize that. Residents follow it, guests follow it, and it's just a part of the community identity. So some people genuinely feel comfortable walking their dogs in the street, jogging in the street, pushing their baby strollers in the street. And trust me, they kind of have to, because the sidewalks are limited in most sections. And the speed limit is very, very aggressively enforced in Biscayne Park. But that's what gives it its unique neighborhood feel and makes it different. It's quiet, respectful, and it's one of the rare places that you can move through the neighborhood without, constantly looking over your shoulder for cars. Now, obviously, got to use your common sense, and you got to be careful. And that's a very normal thing in the village because of that, very little traffic. The village is also a designated bird sanctuary. So you'll see a ton of wildlife, mature birds, and a lot of lush natural landscaping. Both the layout of like the original street and the agriculture are kind of the roots of this neighborhood. They were very, very intentionally designed, to keep the atmosphere small town. Even though you're surrounded by pretty big city access, it really doesn't feel like it when you're inside of Biscayne Park. One of the most iconic spots here is the log cabin. It was built in 1933, and it originally served as Village Hall and the police station. In 2015-16, it was fully restored, and it opened up as kind of a community gathering space, usually used for city hall meetings, but it's also sometimes holding some events and open to residents. That restoration of the old log cabin also led to the construction of the current village hall and public safety and police department, which local government offices also use as well. And at the center of the village today is the Ed Burke Recreational Center. I just call it the Ed Burke Park. And this is a place where residents come together for events, classes. They've got sporting events of all kinds and a ton of community service programs as well. There's usually activities 3 to 5 nights a week there, to be honest. But before we go any further, if you're new to the channel, my name is Mark Henry. I'm a local real estate agent and your new source of information for everything related to moving to and living in Miami-Dade County. My partners and I help folks every day who are relocating and want to find the right home in the right neighborhood. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or next year, please don't be shy about reaching out. The best way to get in touch is to send us an email or book a call for a Zoom call. All of our contact information is below in the description, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth move. Now let's jump into the map real quick and talk about a little bit of the daily life and what that's like here. And we're going to start with shopping. Now, Biscayne Park itself actually doesn't have any malls. It's purely residential, but you're minutes away from, several major shopping hubs. I would say all within roughly a 20-minute drive. So you've got the shops at Midtown Miami. That's a huge shopping district there. It's got Target, it's got Home Goods, it's got Marshalls, PetSmart, Dick's Sporting Good, a ton of restaurants, both chain and independent restaurants. The Miami Design District, where you're going to do your high-end luxury shopping, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, and there's a lot of restaurants there as well, but the restaurants there are more chef-driven. I would say they're a step above. And then you've got Aventura Mall, which is to the north, same in that 20-minute range. And this is the largest mall in South Florida, pretty much. So they've got everything. The luxury brands, department stores, family entertainment, restaurants, events at different times of the year. For everyday essentials, you've got plenty within roughly a 10 to 15-minute range away. You've got Publix on Biscayne, and then there's another Publix on 6th Avenue. Whole Foods in North Miami, that's on Biscayne as well, and it's actually just down the road from the Publix that's on Biscayne. Costco, a little bit further north on Biscayne, that's available as well. And then there's a West Dixie on the northwestern or the southwestern side, just a bit a ways. That's on 7th Avenue. And then you've got Mr. Fresh's Farmers Market, that's in North Miami Beach. So if you like local homegrown type of shopping, you can go there. And then even further north in Aventura, up Biscayne, is the Fresh Market. So that pretty much covers the shopping. Let's talk about the downtown area a little bit. Now, Biscayne Park doesn't actually have its own downtown either. Again, it's very residential. There's no commercial there. And that's one of the biggest reasons that relocators move here, is because of that. It's very quiet. But you're next to several great lifestyle districts. So it does have a downtown in the sense that it shares it with North Miami, though it's technically North Miami's downtown. It's literally like 5 minutes away, less if you're on the northern part there, because it ends on 121st Street headed north. But the downtown North Miami, you're going to have different shops, cafes, and community events, because the Mocha Museum is there. That's kind of the cultural outdoor anchor of that area. And they've got all kinds of events and installations. But honestly, you're not going to miss having a downtown, because the parks and recreation here are a big part of why people want to live in this area. For such a small village, it really does have a whole lot centrally packed into one community space. And that space is the Ed Burke Recreation Center and Park. It's pretty much the heart of Biscayne Park and the hub of where most residents gather. The Parks and Recreation Department, they offer programs for kids, adults, and families, and the grounds are kind of designed that everyone has something to do. I personally like that the park is wrapped with a 3/4 mile sidewalk. It's almost like the only sidewalk in the village, but it's perfect for walking and jogging. You just pull up and you can start making your way around. And then, in the rest of the park, you'll find a large tot lot for the younger kids, and then a more full playground for elementary aged kids. And then you've got like a multi-use type of baseball field that you can do soccer, flag football, and kind of have open play. And then the sports facilities include basketball, which I believe there's a full-size court. There's a pickleball, volleyball court there as well, and it also has a smaller racquetball court. And then it also has some unique touches that you don't see in a whole lot of other places, like a plant swap station. So those of you who are into horticulture can bring a plant and pick up a plant. They also have the same thing for books. They have several book swap stations where you can leave a book and pick up a book. And the plant swap thing is really interesting because the original developer was a horticulturist. And so you can see how the village really tries to instill its roots into what's still going on today, which I think is really cool and I found amazing. You'll also find a bike repair station. They've got a butterfly garden, and inside the rec center, they've got like an indoor toddler play area. Also indoors, they have a small community library, a game room, a kitchen and concession stand for events and things like that. But they also have a large multi-purpose room that can be used for meetings and classes, after school programs, and just in general other things that they've got going on. And I believe that it can be rented as well. The center itself and the grounds are also available for rent for birthday parties, family gatherings, athletic events. You just go to City Hall and you can get that done. The locals do use it consistently, and that's why the village feels like connected and very friendly. It's a very tight knit community. On any given afternoon there at the park, you'll see families out there, kids playing around, neighbors walking their dogs, some people playing some pickup basketball. And I mean, for a village that's just over 3,100 residents, the park does a really good job of serving the community as a main social anchor for people to be outdoors. And nearby, as far as things to do, you also have Arch Creek East Environmental Preserve. It's about 8 minutes, 10 minutes away north on Biscayne to the east. And it's a natural preserve park that's perfect for kayaking, wildlife observation, nature walks, etc. Not necessarily a part of the village, but it's a great addition in the area, something that kind of naturally mirrors the lifestyle that you'll have there living in the village. Okay, and of course, we have to talk about some housing and real estate because, of course, that's the part that you, as someone who's thinking about relocating here, probably care about the most the homes. Biscayne Park has some of the most charming architecture in Miami. Honestly, I think it's comparable to Coral Gables and Coconut Grove in its own special way. Mostly the construction there is 1930s to 1950s and 60s, bungalow style, old Florida cottage style homes. You're also going to find some mid-century ranch style houses and Spanish revival designs as well. It's nice because you're also going to get renovated modern homes tucked inside all of that greenery. The lots there are larger than average, I would say, for this side of Miami. Similar to North Miami, though, usually 7,000 to 13,000 square feet. And there's some really nice big corner lots there as well. General price ranges, I would say, currently at the time of filming this video, entry-level homes would be 800,000 to 900,000. Mid-tier, maybe more modern or something that's partially renovated would be a million to 1.4 million. And then fully renovated or oversized homes or new construction, 1.5 million to 2.2 million or more. Now, a few important notes for relocators as it pertains to the housing and the real estate. There are no HOAs for single family houses, but the village does enforce pretty strict architectural and landscape standards. Not as firm as an HOA, but still they want to keep a certain atmosphere and it is enforced. There's a very high owner occupancy rate, which definitely leads to pride of ownership, where people really take care of their properties and there's no weird stuff going on where something happens and you feel like, oh my God, look at how they did this. Look at how my neighbor painted the house. It's going to affect my property value. That doesn't really happen here. It also has one of the lowest crime rates on the east side of Miami, in this northern portion, which is great because you don't have to worry about your property being broken into. And for the most part, the inventory is pretty limited because the village is so small. I mean, there's not going to be hundreds of homes available to choose from. There might be a dozen or two. The neighborhood in general holds values pretty well historically, and the demand has always exceeded the supply. So later on, when you go to sell your property, if you sell your property later on, you should, if priced properly, have a pretty easy time getting the thing sold. All right, now enough of that. Let's actually jump into the map and see what's currently available. All right, so I've got Biscayne Park pulled up, and most of the clients that I talked to are looking for a 3-2. So I've just got it filtered to 3-2. But you know what? Let's just do any. And most folks are looking for a single family home, but let's see. There's no townhomes and there's no condos, right? Because like I said earlier in the video, it's strictly residential here. But let's look at what's available here. So there's no pictures of this, and it's the cheapest one here, and it's for a reason, right? It probably needs full rehab. Yeah, so this is a fixer-upper all the way through and through. Not what we're looking for. For two, just shy of 1,600 square feet. I would call this original condition. Obviously, they did the tiles there, but it doesn't look brand new. Doesn't give me that happy, warm, brand new feeling. I like the bathroom, the fact that the bathroom is definitely updated there. This would be an awesome starter home here. I would say this is a great option. Perfect example of a starter home here in Biscayne Park. And let's see when it was built. It's 1947, which makes sense. Most of it is 30s to 50s and maybe some late 50s into early 60s builds. Let's see what else is available. Let's check out this next one here. Price just under 900,000. 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Oh wow, 1,000 square feet. So honestly, I'm just gonna scroll through this really quickly, and it's a really charming house. Even has the original beams here that looks like it was painted over. Really nice house, but it's pretty small. 1,000 square feet, unless there's an error here. Look at the Spanish style archway here with the iron gate. I think that's really cool. Has a nice touch. Nice deck in the backside. Man, I think this is a beautiful house. That 1,000 square feet is really killing me though. Let me go back. Let's read this here. Now, it doesn't say anything about square footage there. Oh, there you go. So, interesting. I wonder if this is a mix-up or a mistake. I wonder if the square footage is this here, and for some reason on the tax roll it's showing up as this livable square footage. Maybe this is what has AC. This is definitely a nicer size for a 3 bedroom. It is 1 bathroom though, which really kills me. Me personally, um, we've got a large family, so everybody's always fighting over the bathroom. I would not want a 1 bedroom, but beautiful little house. All right, so this is a 3-2, just shy of 1,600 square feet. Let's take a look at some of the pictures. I like the flooring a lot better on this one. Really nice stainless steel package. A little island in the kitchen. Go back one more. It's like, yep, the kitchen is open, so it's an open layout there. Oh no, there's a wall there. It's not open. I always say pictures can be deceiving. You really gotta think of it from what angle they took the picture. Pretty nice, fully renovated house. And in terms of price, who knows what it's going to sell at, but this is what it's listed at, and that is a pretty fair representation of what you're going to get here in Biscayne Park. And let's just look at the pricing in general. I mean, pretty much starts at 700,000 for this property here, but this is a total fixer-upper. Doesn't even have any pictures of the inside, um, so that's not a great representation. So let's start with this one here that we looked at. So pretty much starting at 8, and we filter high to low, goes as high as this new construction here, which is just shy of 6 million bucks. Let's take a quick look at that. Wonder if this is built already. Oh yeah, it is built already. Turnkey, brand new tropical modern 1-story estate, built in 2024 on a 3rd-acre lot, which is about 13,000 square feet. I mean, hands down, this is no doubt a beautiful home. Look at that bathroom. I love these designs. This is something that's happening a lot. People making these outdoor shaded areas, pergola, I believe it's called, with the kitchen, the small kitchen setup outside. This is no small kitchen setup by the looks of it. This looks like it might be a flat top. This is obviously the grill right here. And a lot of the time, these are connected to the gas line. So you don't have to have bottles underneath there, rotating gas in and out. But I really love these designs. Nice, sleek, modern pool. No bean pool here. That looks like a 2-car garage. Oh, wow. I think, well, that almost looked like it was up top. Yeah, that was in fact up top on the roof. Beautiful house. And let's see if we could just find something kind of mid-range. So at the bottom there, we were at 800,000. This is, just shy of 6 million, or at least that's what they're trying to sell it for. Let's find something else in the maybe close to 1 million or 1.2 million or so. Um, hmm. So actually, in my North Miami video, I took a look at this house as well, and I think this is a great representation of what you can get for. I think it was listed at 1.95 million. Super modern, really nice. I love these accent lights here um, in the mirror above the vanity. Got your Jack and Jill vanity, really nice stand up glass shower. And honestly, I think some more light would have made these pictures even better. But this is obviously a beautiful, beautiful home. Everything has been renovated or completely redone. Nice deck outside so that you can put your outdoor furniture. I really wish they would have opened up and put some more light. Opened up all the windows, let some light in there, and shown a better representation of this house. But I do think that it's a great example. But let's look at one more. 5 bedroom, 4 bath, 2,500 square feet. So this is Really nice size property. Great for larger families. It's on a quarter-acre lot built in 1948. And right away they said fully renovated. So let's take a look at their full renovation. I really love these built-in racks and cubby holes, rather than having just your traditional closet space. And it definitely got really nice lighting all over the house. Same as the other property, really nice accent lights above the vanity. Huge backyard with some nice curb appeal. So that was a beautiful property as well. So I mean, so as you can see, at the end of the day, the lowest that you're gonna start seeing prices is gonna be that six. Actually, no, six, not six. On the low side, seven. I believe 798 was the low side, and then easily up to several million. But as you can see scattered here, you've got 1.3, 1.6, 1.2, 1.5, 1.5. I personally think that if you can get something along here, along the canal, that is a really, really nice feature, because you're essentially going to be not on a body of moving water, but you'll get some natural wildlife, coming in and out of your yard, and you also get a view that everybody else isn't going to get. So that's a pretty unique, specific area here. So, for example, this one here, for 1.4. This is kind of the only one right now that is listed along Griffin, or at least on the side where you'd have a water view there, of the canal, just like this here. It's a really big island there. I like that, how big the island is. I do a whole lot of cooking. In a previous life, I was a private chef, so I appreciate the kitchen and always want to look at how big my prep space is. So nice split level house, with a one-car garage. They've really kind of decked out their back patio and living area. And right there, you can just kind of sit there, have your coffee in the morning, look at the water. Looks like they got a canoe here. So they're outdoor enthusiasts. It's Biscayne Park. I'm not surprised. Just wanted to show you an example of one house that is along Griffin here. Because if you can find something right here, if you're okay with being on a canal, um, this is kind of the sweet spot right here to really find a nice property. Although there's nice properties all over Biscayne Park. But listen, at the end of the day, if you're going to spend this kind of money, you're probably wondering, well, what are the schools like? So let's talk a little bit about the schools. That's going to be a big factor for relocating families. And I would say that in Biscayne Park, you're pretty centrally located to several strong public schools and private school options. For zone public schools, you've got Miami Shores Elementary. That's pretty highly rated, for teachers and community involvement. And then you've also got David Lawrence K through 8, which they have two locations. One is just northwest of Biscayne Park, kind of in the corner up at the top left, so northeast. And then they've got one on Biscayne. And then you've got W.J. Bryan, which is just there in North Miami across 125th. and Matter Academy, which actually took over Johnson and Wales's old campus over by where the Publix Plaza is, and that's a newer school, and they actually go all the way up to 12th grade. Very, very popular option, especially for new relocators. And then they've got a lot of pretty nice top private schools, within 10 to 12 minutes. Miami Country Day being one of the top ones. It's one of the best in South Florida. And then you've got St. Rose of Lima Catholic School, Monsignor Pace High School. And then there are several Montessori style and early education centers as well, all within 10 to 12 minutes. And again, for relocating families, that's really important. Miami-Dade is probably on the top of the list for most people. If you're okay with paying for a private school, that definitely is a top choice. But I always advise with schools, especially, get online, see what the school ratings are, see what other teachers and parents have to say, and do your research. Biscayne Park, at the end of the day, truly is a hidden gem. It's very peaceful, very green, has an amazing community feel, and it's still relatively close to everything in Miami, all things considered. The overall demographic here is a mix of young couples with families or older couples that are looking for privacy, safety, access to great schools, and access to a location where they can really feel like they're at home and not amongst a bunch of commercial noise. But no neighborhood is perfect. So I want you to check out my next video, which is going to be all about the pros and cons of living in Biscayne Park. You see, you have to have both sides because I really want you to have as much information as possible so you can make a balanced, informed decision on whether this is going to be a community you want to consider putting on your short list of places to visit when you come down here, when you're relocating, and when you ultimately buy a home. Regardless of where you're relocating in Miami, reach out. Let's do it the smart way. Until next time, God bless and be well.